Deep within the heart of the foreboding Salem woods, where shadows clung to the gnarled branches like malevolent spirits, a dilapidated mansion stood, shrouded in an otherworldly darkness. The air in Salem hung heavy with the weight of ancient secrets, and those who dared to speak the name Ravenhurst Manor did so in hushed tones, their breaths catching in their throats. Rumors whispered through the town of Salem, a town seemingly frozen in time, where the echoes of a dark history reverberated through the cobblestone streets. It was said that Ravenhurst Manor was a place of forbidden knowledge, where the line between the living and the dead blurred into a realm of unspeakable horrors. Amelia Blackwell, a daring investigative journalist with a penchant for the occult, couldn't resist the allure of Ravenhurst Manor. Drawn to the mysteries that clung to its decaying walls, she embarked on a journey that would unravel the fabric of her reality. The moon hung low in the ink-black sky as Amelia approached the foreboding gates of Ravenhurst. A chill ran down her spine, but an insatiable curiosity propelled her forward. The gates creaked open as if welcoming her into the abyss, and she stepped into the shadows that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. The mansion loomed before her, a spectral silhouette against the moonlit sky. The windows glistened like malevolent eyes, and the ivy-clad walls whispered long-forgotten incantations. The air crackled with a palpable malevolence as Amelia crossed the threshold, the echoes of her footsteps drowned by the sinister hum of the unseen. As she ventured deeper into the mansion, the air grew thicker, suffused with the acrid scent of incense and the lingering residue of dark rituals. The walls seemed to pulsate, alive with an ancient energy that coursed through the very foundation of Ravenhurst. Amelia pressed on, guided by an unseen force that beckoned her into the heart of the abyss. In a dimly lit chamber, Amelia discovered a forbidden library, its shelves adorned with grimoires bound in human flesh and inked with blood. The pages whispered tales of black magic, demonic pacts, and the unholy communion between the living and the dead. The forbidden knowledge wrapped its tendrils around Amelia's mind, a seductive dance with the macabre. A soft murmur echoed through the chamber, and a shadowy figure materialized, a spectral librarian of forbidden tomes. The apparition's hollow eyes fixed upon Amelia, and a disembodied voice spoke, recounting the history of Ravenhurst's accursed lineage. Each word was a dagger in the fabric of reality, tearing through the veil that separated the living from the damned. Driven by an insatiable compulsion, Amelia delved into the darkest corners of the grimoires, tracing sigils with trembling fingers. Unearthly whispers guided her, and the boundaries of time and space seemed to blur. As she recited incantations written in the language of the damned, the air crackled with an unholy energy. A shiver ran through the mansion, and the spectral librarian's gaze intensified. The room trembled, as if the very foundation of Ravenhurst recoiled at the unleashing of forbidden forces. The shadows congealed, forming a nightmarish tableau, a congregation of tormented souls, their faces contorted in eternal agony. In the heart of the ritual, Amelia's senses became a maelstrom of terror and ecstasy. The walls seemed to bleed, and the air echoed with the anguished cries of the damned. The boundary between the living and the dead wavered, and Ravenhurst became a conduit for the malevolent energy that surged through the abyss. As the ritual reached its zenith, a figure materialized, a sinister entity with eyes that mirrored the abyss itself. The air crackled with the stench of sulfur as the demonic presence spoke through a chorus of disembodied voices. Ravenhurst Manor, a vessel of dark knowledge, had become a gateway to a realm beyond human comprehension. Amelia, caught in the grip of forces she could not control, felt the very essence of her being unravel. The room convulsed, and the spectral librarian let out a mournful wail. The boundaries of Ravenhurst expanded, swallowing the town of Salem in a vortex of unbridled malevolence. The very fabric of reality twisted and contorted, as if the world itself had succumbed to the abyss. Salem became a spectral landscape, a purgatory where the living and the dead coexisted in a nightmarish tapestry. The townsfolk, now trapped in an eternal dance with the macabre, wandered through the ethereal gloom, their eyes vacant, their souls ensnared by the malevolent forces that had been unleashed. As the demonic entity gazed upon its newfound domain, the abyss within Ravenhest continued to hunger. The veil between worlds, once a fragile membrane, now hung asunder. Salem, once a town frozen in time, had become a haven for the damned. Amelia, her form now ethereal, drifted through the spectral landscape. The whispers of the tormented filled her ears, and the echoes of her own actions reverberated through the void. She had become a part of the unholy tableau, a guardian of the abyss, forever bound to the malevolent forces she had set free. The legend of Ravenhest Manor, a dark chapter in the annals of Salem, echoed through the ages. The town, now lost in the shadow of an eternal night, served as a grim reminder of the consequences of meddling with forces beyond mortal understanding. Salem, once a beacon of quaint charm, had become a haunting ground for the restless spirits that now roamed the abyss within Ravenhest.